What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 20 Podcast. I am your host, DJ Spider. What is going on? As always, our show is brought to you by Beatsource, the music streaming service for DJs that play everything. Beatsource has got all the music that you could need for any gig, for every gig. We've got amazing curated playlists that are always being updated, and they're done by super knowledgeable, dope DJs and producers and curators. We've got songs no other record pools have. We have custom edits, and we're constantly improving and listening to you guys, the beat sorcerers, to hear what you want. So sign up, beatsource.com for a 30-day free trial. Use our code the20 for a 60-day free trial. And thank you. Thank you for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it. Make sure you rate and review us. If you watch us on YouTube, if you listen on Apple, if you listen on Spotify, all of it, hit us on there. Really appreciate it. All the support. You guys are incredible. Now, today on the show, we have got one of my favorite producers and DJs, someone who I think is a blessing to the DJ community, seeing that probably almost every DJ plays this person's musical productions and is inspired by them. His approach to mashups, remixes, edits, and original production is very unique, and we explore all of that on this episode and get really deep into it. His music has led him to meet some amazing musical stars that he looks up to and has remixed, as well as some legendary producers that now he's in constant contact with. So it really just shows you the power of music. And in a way, I feel like he has only begun. Like, he has so much that he's going to do in his life, you know, and he's already done so much that you'll learn about. We discuss how one song can change your life, take you around the world, and we talk about sometimes how your biggest known thing can be like a silly mashup joke, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you hear this crazy mashup that he made that went viral. Only one of many. I have so much respect for this guy and what he does for the DJ and producer culture, so please welcome to the show, ESENTRIK. We are here. It's the 20 Podcast, and we have got the man himself, DJ ESENTRIK, in the house. Give it up. Give it up, everybody.
Yo, what's up? What's going on?
What's up? Yeah. Oh, we got to give you the... Oh, shit, I missed it. We got to give you this one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
there you go.
That's right,
yep.
For the Neptunes.
Perfect.
You know that we know you love the Neptunes here on the on our podcast.
Yes, sir.
So got to represent with the...
Yes, sir.
Anytime you say something great, we'll say...
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just keep your finger right on that button.
He's right here back. I don't have any Chad Hugo talking.
He rarely talks, so yeah.
Rarely. I got to find it off YouTube with him being like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like something.
For sure.
It's not going to happen. But yes, thank you for being on the show, and really appreciate you coming on. I'm here in LA. We're doing this virtually, and you are out in New York, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can press that button right there.
Yes, sir.
Well, I can also press this for New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need shaboy.
It's the rock.
Yeah, exactly. I only have a certain amount of spaces, so you know, if you come to LA, we can give you.
You know the fucking vibes.
We can give you that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or this.
Blood out.
That's if you fly out to LA. That's the connection.
Yeah.
Snoop gives you the blood out. But yes, thank you for coming on. And we were just talking. I'm like, I've been, such a fan of your production and everything. And I've played your songs in my sets everywhere forever. And I was like, I don't think we've ever met. I don't think we've ever actually talked. Like a lot of DJs I'll run into in different cities or we'll meet through different areas, but I don't think we ever talked. We don't have any remember that time, stories. So great to meet you, man. Yeah,
for sure. Same here, man. I was just saying, before everything, even hearing about your name and then your videos. I don't know if you still do them, but those Instagram videos of you in airports with the magazines. That was my first glimpse of what you look like, and I was like, this is amazing. What is this?
Okay, that deserves that sound. No, that's hilarious. That's so many people are like, I love your magazine thing, man. I'm like, yeah, I've been DJing for 15 years or something, some long time. And they're like, I love the magazine thing. And then they ask me if I do it still too, which is hilarious. I do it. The pandemic, somewhat killed the magazine thing because, first of all, you're wearing a mask in the airport, not helping to make faces. Also taking the mask down, they're looking at you like, are you giving everyone COVID? What's happening? So it sort of, killed the vibe. Also, being in an airport just was not as fun. But so the last one I did, actually, people are hitting me like, are you still doing that? I'm like, I guess so. I need to like figure out how to do it. And I took my son to Barnes and Nobles just to like buy some books so he could have like, he's 9 years old. I'm like, you need to read for the summer. And I saw the magazine rack and I was like, all right, Jude, you might have to film me. We're doing something here. He's like, oh, all right. So, he's watching his dad like try to find props in Barnes and Nobles to put around my neck and like make stupid faces. So I made one probably a couple weeks ago with him. I think he's in the back. He even helped me. He's in the background of a couple of them. But
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Thank you. I'm glad. I've never taken social media that seriously, so I like to. And part of my personality is probably just being an idiot sometimes.
Well, even that, and also that that viral video of you like DJing and some like woman comes up to you. I see that everywhere.
Yo, it's so crazy. And I was going back and DJing at that club a few weeks ago, and I was like, all right, I'm going to post that video again. And for anyone that hasn't seen it, just go on my Instagram or TikTok. It's just probably an 8-second video of me like nicely nudging a girl away from the turntables and her not spilling her drink on the turntables. But I think my face spoke all the words that needed to happen, which is why I think it went everywhere. But yeah, I mean, it just shows with DJing, you never know how people can hear about you. It can be dumb videos making faces or making amazing edits and remixes like you, or doing a Nickelback G-Unit
oh my god
mashup. You know what I mean? It's the same as you, right? Like how you make this ridiculous mashup that is almost perfection. You know what I mean? It's like one of those like they were meant to be like two songs that were like got married. You know what I mean? It was like The Odd Couple. You put it together in this unbelievable way, and your amazing production skills and techniques really took it to that next level. And then it blows up, and you probably get 1 million people hitting you up about this ridiculous mashup. And you're like, I do so much other shit that I'm serious about.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the ongoing joke, right? Especially you're a creative or like a producer and stuff. You want to be taken seriously, and then you just make like something stupid like that. And then that's the one that people like bring up. But yeah, I mean, that one, it was just by accident. I was fortunate enough to have like little viral moments before that.
Yes, I know.
And so I didn't wake up that morning and say, hey, I'm going to make, a viral moment tonight or today. But that one just kind of like crossed my mind while I was just like looking through like my library. And then I was like, oh man, that was like the first time I was like, oh man, that might actually go somewhere, or like people are gonna like make this funny. And I was like, I gotta sync it to the music video because nowadays you need like visuals and stuff. And just the way how I sequenced it, and just there's like a fade in. If you like look back at that video, I don't even know, Twitter took it down because it was like copyright, but if you could still find the video, in the beginning it's like a fade in, and then you see Chad Kroger, I think that's the guy's name, right? So,
I think so.
He starts singing, and then the beat. Well, actually, before that, it was like the beginning of the G-Unit video, and then it fades into the Nickelback video, and people are like, "Holy shit!" Like, this is crazy. So yeah, and that blew up, man.
The way he's looking at the camera too is just like, and the beats behind it works so perfect, and he's so serious, and it's so funny, but it works so good, and like it touches something musical inside of you because you get hyped no matter what, but it's ridiculous. But the beat is so dope. And then his singing works so perfect. So it's just like this weird, it's like eating like a soup, like where someone tells you the ingredients and you're like, that's not going to work. That's going to be disgusting. Yeah. And then you eat it and you're like, mustard and watermelon or whatever, people try to say is popular. It's like, no. You're like, oh, it tastes good.
Yeah, because like people would send me videos of them playing it out, and they're like, people are confused because at first they're thinking it's going to be like the G-Unit record, and then all of a sudden the Nickelback sings, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Oh my God. I played it, like I did a gig, I don't know, probably a month ago, and I was in Vegas, and it was for like a weed convention, a bud tender award show. And
Oh, wow.
was and Snoop Dogg played, and then I played before and after him. And I remember like afterwards, you know, we were at that club Chaos in Las Vegas, which like opened and closed. Like they signed Marshmello to a $60 million deal, and then all this crazy shit happened. And then it was like the biggest club in Vegas, and then it just went out of business. And so now they're back like trying to make it a private event space. But it's massive, like absolutely massive. And I'm DJing at the end of the night, and there's like hardly anyone there. And so I was trying to make them have fun, but also get them to leave, you know? So I'm like playing like, you know, Before I Let Go, and just like some funky stuff that like isn't Vegas-y, but is like gonna be fun. And then I just, in one of my crates, I come across that mashup, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna drop this right now, because they're gonna be confused. It's 3 a.m, they're drunk, you know, and I put it on. They loved it so much. They were like going even crazier. And then they're looking at me like, what's happening here? But they're dancing and having fun. I'm like, oh, it didn't work. I thought it would make them like stop or something, but it's just
that's amazing.
Legendary. Yeah. It lives on. Man. So yes, we, you know, doing ridiculous. I mean, I guess, look, doing ridiculous shit can lead to, I mean, that's kind of like the Dylan Francis Diplo approach in a way, where they make really dope shit that they love and they work really hard on. But their Instagram and all those things are a lot of just ridiculous videos, you know, that leads for people to learn about them, like them, see that they're kind of genuine people probably, and then go, oh, they make dope music too. Yeah.
I mean, that's all. It's to have a viral moment like that, and then you got the good cases where people are like, all right, so what else does he have? You know, that's always like my always thing. It's like anytime I put out something, if that's the first time that person heard me before, now I'm like, I want them to look, you know, deeper and see what else I got. And that's what's happened. So whatever you got, corny stuff, funny stuff, serious stuff, whatever, just put it out right at this point. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree. And like, and also I feel like you're so different in the world of mashups, remixes, edits, production, all the stuff, DJing, because you just have this like magical way of blending. You're not like a mashup guy. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you see that mashup person or the remix person or the blend, or, you know, whatever it is. Like I do edits. I'm the edit guy. I'm the edit girl. But like you have a way of, if you do a mashup, it's not just a mashup. Like you can hear that you put all this extra production in there, and it's almost a remix, even if it's a mashup. Or like you put Snow, Britney, like ones that are just crazy, different together, but you utilize your production skills, which I think really takes your stuff to the next level, you know, and just makes it so different.
Yeah, because like in the beginning, you know, I did start just making blends, because that's where I kind of grew up on, like blend tapes, especially like here in New York. There was a lot of those going around, and you know, and I looked up to like, you know, Green Lantern when, you know, you worked with like Eminem, so like he was putting out a lot of those like blend tapes and putting like different phrases from like rap lines and making it into like its own like hook and stuff. So I got into that, and then so I was like, how do I stand out more? Because I know people, even just being a DJ itself, like starting to become a DJ, like how do you separate yourself from the others? Like everyone can have the same, you know, the same songs and play them in a, you know, different order, but like how do you stand out from the rest? So I was like, all right, how do I make stuff? Like, so then that's how I just started like making blends, putting like my own edits and stuff into my sets just to stand out more. So then when you start playing them out, people are like, I'm like, oh, I've never heard this song. Like, where'd you get that from? And you're like, oh, I made it, you know? So then just started doing that. So then instead of just like making blends nowadays, you know, since, you know, we're talking about the TikTok days, like TikTok's full of those, you know, blends, mashups and stuff, because these kids figured it out. Because back in the day, there was like the only way you could really do blends would probably do it live, you know, doing it on turntables and stuff. There was not many like softwares that you could do or DAWs that can do it. Like I really had a hard time doing it when I first started, you know, over 10 years ago, trying to like, this is like the peak of like the internet back in, you know, late 90s, 2000s. And trying to figure out like, how do I put this vocal onto this beat? And I had like a Windows computer at the time. So like I was, you remember, like, I don't know if you use Windows, but I don't know if they still have it.
Yeah,
but
I did.
It was a thing, it was it's called a sound recorder. It was just like basically a program where you just record your voice. And I figured out that if you like feed it audio, I don't remember if I like recorded, but like I think you can import like an audio, but you can only do like certain, like so much time you can do it. And then I found out there's like a mix option. So I was trying to figure out the BPMs, and that during that time I was like, how do I count BPMs? I'm just like figuring it out. And I found and I had this Winamp, we all remember Winamp. And then there's this plugin that does like, it was kind of like a BPM counter, but it wasn't really that accurate. But it also, you could like change the tempo of it. So I would like record the audio coming out of Winamp through this recorder, and then take another file and put it in there. It's super complicated, and it would never work out right. But like I try to figure it out. But like, figuring out how to do blends. I think earliest ones were like Eminem and stuff. Because the first like mashup that I've ever heard in my life that made me kind of want me to do stuff was it was an Eminem. I think it was like Real Slim Shady and like Oops I Did It Again, Britney Spears beat or something, which I found like on like Napster or something a long time ago.
Right. And did it even have a label of who did it?
There might have been, but I don't even remember.
I feel like back then there was no label. Like I just found a folder from 2006, and it's just called Mashup 2006 or something in my thing. And 80% of them are just like that, like Eminem, Britney, and I'm like, who even made this? Like nobody gets credit.
Because it would just be like Real Slim Shady versus Oops I Did It Again, and then
like the first one I remember seeing was like it'd be like Inhumans or Scissorhands or Riz were the first people I saw starting to label them. But before that, it was just like, this is dope. What is this? Like you said, I found it on LimeWire or Kazaa or Napster or whatever. All right, sorry to interrupt, but so you found that one.
And I found it, and then I was like, how do I mash up these vocals onto there? And at first I was like doing it by pieces. So like, just imagine taking, I don't know, like The Way I Am or whatever Eminem song it was at the time, and didn't think, because I was like, I can't get it in sync with the beat, because I didn't know the BPM of the tempo, because I didn't even know you had to like think about that. I was just like taking sentences and phrases and putting it on top of the beat. And I'm like, this sounds like shit. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And then I figure it out. I'm like, I just got to match the tempo. So that's how I was like learning how to like beat match and stuff like that. And then fast forward to now, like now that everybody's doing these blends and stuff, which is the easiest thing to do as far as like if you're a DJ and stuff like that, or like you're just learning into like want to get into production because you can show off what you can do. But now I was just like, how do I step it up a little? Nowadays, people are just sampling, old 2000 records and making it into like trap songs, rap songs. There's like the whole Billboard chart is all 2000 songs, right? So I was like, how do I just stand out and make it different? So, take the sample and then redo the drums, or like do a different bass line, or just flip the beat and then take another vocal and put it on top of there. Then you got the best of both worlds type of thing. So, and I think that was the first time I just kind of like really thought of doing that, was like the No Guidance, Fabulous, Chris Brown type of like edit that I did. And that's the one that kind of took off, as far as, because during that time I was like, I didn't even know what I wanted to do like musically, because I was getting frustrated with like the music business and stuff. So I was like, I don't know how to how do I be different? Like I just keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I was like, all right, let me just make this for fun, redo the thing. And it took off. And then like I know a lot of people in the LA it's on the radio all the time, like Power 106 or something. They tell me it's like on rotation it's like they play that more than the original record and stuff, which is great. But that was kind of like the first type of thing for me to just kind of jumpstart everything, which is maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I think, or whatever the original came out. But everything was just wanted to be different of what like production wise.
Right. And I remember that. I remember all that because I've been following you forever. I even remember you kind of tweeting about your being disheartened with the music industry and what to do, and that you weren't that into it. And then seeing like some of your stuff blow up and you being like more in, I don't know. I just remember seeing like bits and pieces of like you sort of expressing that and then putting that music out. It really just proves if you tap back into doing things for fun or doing things just to do it, that's where you find you re-find your creativity or re-find your love for things, and that's where like the dope shit can come out, I guess. Yeah,
that's cool. And for you to bring that up, that's pretty important, because I think a lot of people don't, especially like creatives like ourselves and producers or music, whatever artists, you get into that stuck mode of like, oh man, I don't know what to do, and especially if you don't have like a big backing or a big machine behind you to kind of like boost you, whatever, you're kind of doing it on your own. And I still go through that stuff every day, but
so do I. Yeah,
it's just a common thing to do, but it's just, how do you overcome all that stuff? And so a lot of it needs to be, people need to really address those type of things, or not be afraid to talk about them, because it happens to all of us and stuff. So it's a good thing to learn about, and also just learn about yourself, and just keep telling yourself that you can overcome all that stuff. Yeah,
and I think just kind of going back to the why, you know what I mean? It's like, if you just like sit in front of your stuff that your equipment, whether it's DJing or production or whatever it is, and just go, why did I start doing this? Sometimes I remember when I first started DJing, I really wanted to learn to scratch. I really wanted to sound like DJ Premier. It's like, if I just go back to like imitating Premier scratches, it like re-sparks something in my body and brain where I'm like, okay, this is dope. This is fun. This is like getting my creativity back. And it's something, it can be as simple as that, or, more complex. But yeah, I think that we all go through those periods of creativity lulls, or wondering what we should do. And I mean, the pandemic like really brought that out of like, what am I going to be a DJ after this? Like, what's even happening? So that was a crazy time for that. But yeah, we're all human. We all deal with that stuff. And I remember seeing, and it was crazy for me to read you writing that even online, because I'm like, this dude is one of the dopest out of all of us, you know what I mean? Like out of all of, and us in terms of DJ, producer, remixer, mashup, whatever kind of people. I'm like, he's like such levels above us, and he's getting frustrated. That's insane. Like, I can't believe that artists weren't banging your door down like to have you remix or reproduce their new songs, because like you said, they're playing your stuff on the radio here. The artists are noticing you, and I know huge producers, Jimmy Jam, people are like noticing you and saying how much they respect you, and then you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm frustrated. It's like, oh damn. So it's hard.
I was I wasn't sure if I wanted to tweet that and stuff. I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I remember asking people like, should I even post this? Like, because I don't really show like that side ever. Like, I'm usually just joking on like Twitter and stuff, and it's nothing that serious and stuff. I never really show my feelings like that. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out. Let's see what happens. And I got a good feedback from it, and it actually pushed me to like do stuff more, So doesn't I don't mind doing that stuff like that now.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, like, and I've gone through so many times of that, of either, I guess, like rejection then leading to like me being more motivated, or whatever it is. Like, you go down in the valley and try to climb up the mountain afterwards. But yeah, so that's super interesting, and so when you were saying like you were doing blends and then you figured out, oh, I just got to match the BPM, and you were trying to figure out the whole thing, were you DJing at that time at all?
Yeah, here and there, like local stuff, because I was living in Long Island, so I was doing like local bars and stuff, but nothing to be like crazy about,
But you were a DJ, like you weren't, whether it's local or not, you had like started DJing and were a DJ. You weren't like, so I'm only a producer, I'm going to learn to DJ.
Yeah, so my first love into it was DJing. Like, that's how, because I was like, I love music, so like, how do I express that more? And then, I just started seeing videos of, 8-track, DJing, and like during that time it was like AM and stuff. I was like, man, especially AM too, like the way how he kind of shifted the whole DJ game. So seeing that and him doing those mashups and stuff, and the classic rock songs and all those routines he was doing. So I was like, man, at that time I was like, how do I be like that? Then I kind of figured that, I practiced, but I was like more into like making the actual song. So I was trying to do both, because I was trying to figure out, I'm like, all right, I want to do both, but some for me, like I like to focus like on one thing. I can't focus on like so many things. So
Right.
at that time I was doing the DJ thing, but then I was like, I want to showcase more of my, production and like edits and stuff like that. So I was trying to balance a thing. Then I figured out that like, doing all those tricks and stuff, like that wasn't me. I was just like
Right.
the guy to provide the music, transition, play my edits. I was just trying to showcase all my stuff. So then once that I figured that out, I was like, all right, I could still do the DJ thing because that's where I could play out my stuff. But I was also doing like the edits, the remixes and stuff like that. And that's kind of where I got the online presence back in the day, especially during those days of like music blogs and
Right.
and stuff like that. That's where I kind of got a lot of the attention from me, for me. So, and during that time I was working like a regular 9 to 5 job. So whenever I had free time, I would just do like a remix and stuff like that. And then, blogs would pick them up and then I'll just be like at work.
Right.
I'm like, oh shit, look, like I got more plays on SoundCloud. Like
That's crazy.
went from
Where were
like
you work-
50.
Where were you working?
So I went to school for like graphic design. So I was working at this like printing place that, I was like in charge of this like really gigantic like digital printing stuff. So
Wow.
like clients would bring out their, advertising posters or whatever. So I would have to
Yeah.
fix them up, the files, and then print them out. It was really boring. But during that time, all I could think about is just like making edits and stuff and making remixes and stuff. So, and then that's like kind of like when I first got into like Twitter. So I was looking into what was going on with there. And then this can kind of tie into everything, but that's kind of how I met Benzie, DJ Benzie. So
Yeah.
I saw him doing a lot of those, blend mixtapes and stuff. He was like really into those type of things. And I was like, man, how do I get onto one of those? So I just like messaged him. I was like, hey, how do I get on this new mixtape of yours? And then he's like, and then he was like because I looked at him as like this big celebrity, because at that time
Right.
I didn't know anybody. It was just me being like a regular guy making music. And he's like,
Right.
just send me some stuff. I was like, oh wow, he responded to me, So I sent him a bunch of stuff, and then he's like, oh, I like this one. And then he's like, how about we work on something? I was like, what? Like, you want to work on something? So I was like, cool. So
Yeah.
then that's kind of how everything kind of snowballed and got me into like really the music world, instead of just, doing local DJing and then making
Right.
little edits in my room for fun. And now the social media kind of boosted, and talking to Ben really got my foot in the door with a lot
Right.
with a lot of the music stuff.
Yeah, I mean, shout to Benzie. I've known him from many different ways. I don't know, like, I think the first time I met him, we were in, I don't know, Cleveland or Cincinnati or some crazy place, and we were judging a Red Bull 3 style
I think he told me this story. Yeah,
or something.
I think he told me the story.
They gave us these turntables with our names printed on them, but they were like those Crosley kind of ones, like the where you like
Right.
kind of cheap or whatever. But it said DJ Spider on it. It said Benzie, and like we had it. And I remember he was like, "Yo, I drove here. Like, put it in my car." And I was like, all right, like, I don't know where the hell we are. We went to some crazy after party in the middle of nowhere in Ohio. Put it in my car. I'm like, all right, put it in his car. And I remember we go back and his shit is all broken into, and someone had stole the turntables.
Wow.
And I'm like, yo, they stole our custom turntables. We were like freaking out. And he was like, I'm going to make it up to you. I was like, all right, man, I'm not tripping. It's all good. And he's like, I'm going to give you a free account to my DJ website. And I was like,
that's such a Ben thing,
I was like, that's a pretty good trade. And then so he hooked me up with a password to his site, so I have like unlimited acapellas or whatever it was.
That's hilarious.
I was like, thank you. But from that, I think that might have been one of the first times we connected. But yeah, I mean, he's such a hard worker and hustler, and you know, I mean, it was crazy the amount of music he gets and people he links up with, and he would hit me too, like, can you make a mashup for this, or do this, or I'm making this for Skrillex, or you know, he's always doing some mad scientist shit, you know. But I mean, when you guys linked up and came out with I mean, I think you guys made, this sounds like a weird probably statement, but some of the most long-lasting and classic twerk music, which I know sounds like a weird, you know, thing, but honestly, your guys' stuff holds up so well. Like, I play it still to this day, and a lot of the twerk shit, you listen back to it, and it's like cringeworthy. You know what I mean? And it sounds horrible, or it's just like, what is going on? Or the drums, or the hi-hats, or the, oh God, this is like a nightmare. Weird, like, you know? Yeah, why would anyone do this? You know what I mean? So, but holy shit, like the Badinga song, you can play to this day at a wedding or a festival. You know what I mean? Like, I have a transition with that song too that I can go up tempo or down tempo with, and it always like will excite people no matter what. And the way it's just, you guys did it in a tasteful way. I think you have a very tasteful way of producing things, you know, and it's this subtle way, and you applied that to even a very in your face cheesy kind of music, you know, which is why it became classic in a way. Like, so like I even brought back a couple, I went through all my twerk songs, and I'm like, oh my God, like 98% of this is horrible. But I found a few of your guys' songs, and I'm like, these are still good. You know, the work one that you did is pretty dope. With
with Four Corners.
I played that again recently, and I'm like, yo, this sounds great. You know, I'm playing it up against new stuff, new Drake and whatever. So, I mean, you guys made some legendary tracks, and I know that led to you really going from DJing, like you said, locally to traveling the world, right? And being on Mad Decent, and kind of, was that your first time, I guess, doing stuff like that, you know?
The first time that me and Ben played together, like as like, I think we were labeled as, because before that, we were putting out music, but no one knew who we were. Like, it just said TWRK remix, and like Mad Decent was putting it up on SoundCloud. Diplo was like retweeting it and stuff like that. So everyone thought Diplo was twerk, or I think I read like on Reddit one time, I saw it said Skrillex and Diplo. This got to be Skrillex and Diplo. And I was showing Ben, and I was showing Ben this. I was like, they think we're Skrillex and Diplo. So for us not to say like who Twerk was, it really like made the hype even more, because you know at that time, like Mad Decent was super hot at that time, and whatever they put out, and especially SoundCloud was super hot at that time. So anytime they reposted anything, it was like gold. So the kids ate that up, and they're like, who are these people? And like they keep doing like these flips of Mad Decent songs. I'm like, there's gotta be Diplo. So we were like just riding off of those coattails. And then our very first show together, we played Mad Decent Block Party After Party in Detroit. And this is the very first time I met Benzie. In Detroit. We go to this festival earlier in the day to check out Diplo's set. This is the first time I meet Diplo and like Jillionaire, like Major Lazer. So
crazy.
The festival was like in a parking lot, and then across the street is where the after party is at this club. So we watch Major Lazer finish, and then Diplo gets off stage, and I'm just looking, I'm like, holy shit, this is Diplo, like, you know. And we literally walk across the street, and like kids are following us, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like there's just people following us. I felt like we were like, you know, Drake or some shit, you know. It's like in a music group. And it was like my first time experiencing this, and I think Bauer was there. That was the first time I met Bauer. So we walk across the street, we go backstage, and I'm like, now I'm in the room, in the green room with like Jillionaire, Diplo, you know, with Ben, and I'm like, and there's just me, and I'm like, this is crazy, like why? And then Diplo's like, man, I love what you guys do. And then because at that time I put out I was still doing like, you know, ESENTRIK stuff, so I had Love You Down, the I Know Jay remix. So he was playing that a lot before that. So we were having that conversation. He was like, man, I love this. Like, I play it all the time. And I was like, holy shit, like Diplo loves my shit. He's like, I'm gonna play it tonight. I was like, oh, dude. So, but I had to mentally prepare myself because we were gonna play. Me and Ben were gonna go open up basically for Diplo.
Right.
And I'd never seen a crowd like this before. You know, I'm just like used to playing, you know, your local bar and stuff like that, and whoever was there. And then I get there and there's like at least 1,000 kids jam packing this club and just staring at you. And this is where the difference between the DJ thing was different to me, because when I was DJing, nobody was looking at me when I was DJing. They were just having a good time. And then when I get to this stage, it's like a full on stage, and all these kids are looking at you, and I'm like, oh shit, man, this is this is like the weirdest shit ever.
Right.
So we go play, and I was like, I'm like, we didn't even have a game plan, and I was like, what are we doing? Like, are we playing off of your laptop? And he's like, yeah, we'll just use my laptop. I was like, I don't even know what you have on your laptop. I'm like, what are we playing? So, and if you know Ben likes to wing everything. Like, he doesn't like to prepare with anything. He just wings it. So this is like my first time, you know, experiences with a guy that I never met before. I just only talked to like through internet stuff. And this is what we got to do. We just go
it's like
play.
The ultimate DJ challenge or something.
Yeah, it was
like a game show.
Yeah, and I was like super stressed. I was like, I don't know what I'm like, let me just follow your lead because I don't know what's going on. Because but at the same time, I was so excited because I was like, wow, I've never been in this position before. So we played like an hour or whatever. So I don't even know if we were like did okay, but no one knew who we were obviously at that time because we were just playing songs. And then like Diplo came behind me and he was just like, yo, he's like, great job. He's like setting up and stuff. I was like, holy shit, like this is Diplo again. Like this is crazy. And then I remember just after when he was playing, I was just like standing behind Diplo, just like watching and like in awe because I was like, this is crazy. Like I'm on the same like venues, you know, whatever. And I remember him like turning back at times saying like, oh, you guys play this song? So he was like asking me like if we played these certain songs so he didn't have to play it again. So I was like, that's cool. And then I got like my little moment when he played like my remix of the Love You Down. And I was like, oh shit. And I remember I was still working like in my 9-to-5 job. So this was like in Detroit. So I remember flying back home because I had to go to work. So I remember flying back and I had the video of it and I was showing like co-workers and friends like, look at that, they were playing my song. So that was like my first experience of like that whole like the TWRK thing with going on with Ben. And then it just kind of like kept going. And then at the time the internet didn't know who we were still. And this is when they had on BBC Radio, they had this Diplo and Friends. So Diplo had like his own radio show and Diplo gave Ben kind of like the reins to kind of control the show, like what kind of guests he wanted to have the mixes on there. So Ben was like, oh, we want to do the reveal, like, you know, who TWRK is and stuff like that. And I was afraid because I was like, no one knows who I am. They might know who you are, Ben, but like they don't know who I am. So I just like kind of like played along with it or whatever. So Diplo did this really long intro of like, you know, TWRK to guys, you know, DJ Benzi, ESENTRIK and stuff like that. And I was super happy because I was like, oh shit, like Diplo said my name again. And it's like, I'm just going to give me some credibility a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then went through that. And then like the internet kind of went wild because it was like, oh shit, like these guys. And it's like, that's ESENTRIK, the one that did blah, blah, blah. So they kind of like tied two together. So then we just started touring off of that. And then when we stumbled upon making Bedinga, that was kind of like the one that really shot us out. Like that song single-handedly made us travel around the world. You know, like we were going to Indonesia like 2 or 3 times a year, you know, like just traveling there, going to Europe. And at that time I wasn't traveling at all. Like I probably was on a plane like twice in my life at that time. And
my God.
Like I barely even traveled. And then now all of a sudden I'm going back home to, you know, seeing family from the Philippines. Like I've never even been there before. That was like my first time being there just because of that song. And then I just earlier today, I was just checking on YouTube because that's like most of the plays are on Bedinga. It's at 111 million plays. Like those are like Justin Bieber numbers, you know, like it's insane.
God.
You know what I mean?
That's like some hit songs don't even hit that, you know, on like massive. That's insane. Wow. Has the people from the original song ever said anything or done anything, or is it licensed?
So we had to clear the record for it to officially, you know, put out as like an actual song. So
do they make money off those streams potentially, or that 100 million? I wonder.
I don't. Well, the problem was the people that uploaded it on the YouTube. It was like this trap channel, like it's all trap or whatever. So
yeah. Same. I have a remix. I did a Fetty Wap remix, and I checked it, and it has like 25 million plays on that trap world or whatever. It's like one of their big ones, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I checked it recently. I was like, I didn't know it had this much. And I'm like, who even gets the stream money from this? You know, I know I don't get $1 from it, but. So,
yeah, because we questioned it because, you know, we actually met up with the kid that he ran the channel.
Trap Nation kid.
Yeah, something like that.
It was Trap something.
We went to we were at the time we were in like Amsterdam for something, and he was out there like because I think he's from there or something. So we agreed to like meet up with the kid to like talk business. And
listen, bro, we got twerk business to discuss.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't fully there for the conversation, but you know, everything kind of got dealt with and stuff like that. But yeah, if we didn't like talk to, because at the time it was out there, but it wasn't on like Spotify or anything like that at that time.
Yeah,
because there really wasn't no Spotify. I mean, there was, but it wasn't like what it is today.
No.
So it was you know, we had to like reach out and say, hey, how much money did you make off this song? we need that half or whatever it was, you know.
Yeah, we made this shit.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. And so what kind of like, how did it pan out? Because you guys aren't really doing the twerk group anymore, right?
No, we haven't done anything. I don't even remember. I lost how many years. Maybe like 2 or 3 years, because during the last kind of like run of twerk, we were doing, you know, very generic clubs, like it was just like casino stuff. Like it wasn't really, you know, we had to do them because it was just like part of the contract and stuff. But we weren't doing like really twerk shows for a while, not for a while. I think we kind of just left it on the table kind of thing, because I think we kind of both grew out of it type of thing. We're older guys. You know, I'm 38. Ben's like, I think he's like around like 40-ish, whatever. So
he's like 65. No,
yeah. Just the name bothered me after like towards the end.
Right.
Because, you know, being older, and I was like, man, I don't really want to walk. Because it's weird when people walk around you and they don't know fully who twerk is at times, and sometimes people think it's one person, some people think it's like 4 people. Right. And then when kids come up to you, they're like, hey, DJ twerk, and I'm like, it's just bad.
You're so like showing up in Beijing, they're like, Mr. Twerk, we would welcome you.
and then you go to these like weird airports, and then there's a guy waiting for you, and there's a sign that says DJ Twerk. I'm like, oh jeez, like this is terrible.
Like, kill me now. I'm not DJ Twerk. This is not what I worked for. Right. That's so funny.
Like, and then like towards the end, we try to like kind of rebrand it a little bit. Like we were saying, like instead of saying twerk, we would say like TWRK. Like we would spell it out. But at the end of the day, it was still twerk, or like say ESENTRIK, you know, just to kind of like clarify who it was. But yeah, we just kind of like grew out of the sound, and like how you were saying earlier, like you look through the older songs back then. Like sometimes I can't even, some of the songs that we did, I can't listen to them because they're just really bad. You know, like there's only like maybe like a handful or 2 that maybe I could still play if it was just like thing. But yeah, like a lot of it was really bad, and it's kind of cool that we did bring that sound out, because at that time when we were making that first mixtape of just like twerk songs, there was no songs to find to actually put on the thing. We were going back to like Ying Yang Twins and like Lil Jon, because that was kind of where it stemmed from. was like New Orleans bounce music, like Lil Jon,
Right.
Yin Yang Twins. Like we were just trying to like,
because you
do
guys
an
did
old-
that Nola Clap remix, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
that
So
one
we were
was
just,
that was like one of your first ones. It was right around the Badinga time.
Yeah.
And that sort
Yeah.
of sound. I remember when you guys did that, I was like, yeah, they for sure know that sound from that, you know. And I was like, that's cool that they're remixing that, because I had, you know, I related it in my head just DJ wise. So yeah. That was the sound of that. I mean, well, it was dope. And so you guys just sort of did your own thing, you know, continued to do your own thing and not collaborate as much, and then just sort of are doing your own things at this point. But there was no formal, like, we're ending TWRK.
Yeah, we didn't have like a, you know how these groups have like these statements and like, oh,
Right.
from after
Swedish
5,
House
10
Mafia.
years, we're retired. No, we didn't have that. We just left it there. Like if we would, we did talk about at one point, like during when it was like the pandemic, like really bad and the quarantine, you know how like people were coming back or like having these one-time performance like live. I was like, man, it would be pretty funny if we like did this like one last hoorah type of like show, like just to see what would happen. But yeah, it never really panned out or whatever. But hey, you never know. Might be one day.
Yeah, you never know. Who knows? I mean, like I said, I was starting to bring some of it back recently, you know, in the clubs past few months. And I'm like, this shit sounds good. Works, you know, if you do it the right way and pick the right ones.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? Amazing. And so you said you grew up in New York. How did you first start DJing? Like, where was your first exposure to DJing and your first kind of records you wanted to play and your equipment and being around people you looked up to?
Well, I had a friend that he was like more of a house DJ. And I used to like watch him just, you know, DJ and like in his basement and stuff like that. And he would like tell me like the ins and outs of like what's happening, like technical wise and stuff. But like the very first time I really saw like DJing was with A-Track. I was watching him, these like those old DMC videos of him like being a kid and just like scratching and doing all these like jungle trips and tricks and stuff like that. So I was like, man, this is like this is crazy. Like, how do you even like do that stuff? And so at that time I was like, man, how do I get turntables, because I can't afford them? And at the time, so like my friend, he sold me his like, they were like Newmark, they were like similar to Techniques. I think it was like the version that it was comparable to Techniques, but it wasn't, you know. You're just getting like not fully there Techniques. So I was like, yeah, I'll take them. Like, and it had like a digital screen on it where you could, you know, with the pitch stuff. So I was like, this is cool. So that was like my first like instance of like having my own turntables. And then, you know, this was before Serato, so like I was buying records. I was going to, I remember a friend of mine was getting he's like at a tattoo parlor, he was getting a tattoo, and I just went to just go with him, and the owner was like, had this like stack of records just in the corner, and I was like, what are you doing with those? He's like, I'm trying to sell them. And I like looked through them, and it was like all the songs that I loved, you know, at that time. And and you know, it was like all the new stuff too. I was like, why is it just sitting here? He's like, oh, I have a guy that DJs, but he just doesn't do it anymore. He just left them here and stuff. I was like, well, I'll take them all. You know, I'll take them all.
Like, this is perfect.
So I took them all, and that's kind of how I just started like learning how to, you know, find out BPMs and like labeling things on the records and stuff. And then I would just do like local parties here and there, you know, and if I had a friend that needed a party, I would bring all my stuff there. And then like Serato hit, and I was like, oh, this is a game changer. I don't have to bring all these records anymore. Are you kidding me? So
hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like my early stages of the, you know, the DJ world.
Yeah, that's dope. And then what are like your favorite kind of sets to play like nowadays? Like if you can get booked to play at a place, like just really eclectic all over the place, like your own edits or specific, you know, house music. I don't know. Like what do you love to go play, you know, jump on and rock?
If it was rock, if it was if I'm controlling my own world,
it's the eccentric
I am.
night. You know, people are coming to see. They're staring at you like the twerk days.
Yeah. So I would love that actually. But yeah, I would just play. I would just love to play my stuff, more like future beats type of stuff, like a little bit of house stuff. I try to stay away from doing like open format type stuff. Like it's just that's not a knock on anyone that does that, but it's just I have like bigger things in my mind, and experiencing the twerk stuff. Like the actual performance wise and being the headliner and stuff like that. I saw it in my head. So I'm like, if I did that in the past, like, let me see if I can do that on my name, without the twerk thing. Like I want to do it on my name. So like, I know it's possible. Right. So that's where, my goals are set. Like, that's why I've just been really nicky. Like if it's the right party, like if it's like a theme party where it's like, because I love R&B stuff, like, in that world of like edits and stuff. So if there's a party that does that, I would love to do that. But if you're gonna book me for like a casino, if you're paying, well, go. Yeah, you know what I mean. But like at the same time, it's like, am I mentally gonna be there? Probably not. So I rather just like play what I want. People come see what they want to hear, because it's cool that someone else can play your stuff, but it's the feeling that I can play something that I just made like 5 minutes ago, and then people are like, "Oh shit, this is good." Yeah, that's like it. The feeling is you can't compare that. So like, I would love to do that. Yeah,
I mean, I'd go to a night where you just play all your own stuff. I'd be in the front row.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm gonna curate it sometime. Maybe in LA. I think that's
that would be dope.
A big bulk of my like listeners and stuff are from LA, so
your sound really speaks to everybody out here, I think, and all over the world. But I do think there is somewhat of a West Coast LA feeling in there somewhere, even though you're East Coast New York person.
People think I'm from LA sometimes because of how like chill I am, like, because people think New Yorkers are so like, I can be at times, but like I'm pretty chill, so people think I'm from LA originally. So
that's funny. And I mean, it's interesting to think back on like where your first experience was standing there with Benzie, who you'd never, I mean, that whole thing you described is crazy. Like I said, it's like a DJ obstacle course show or so, it's like go into a place with one of the most famous people, open up for him, everyone's staring at you. You've never met anyone. You've never met the person you're collaborating with that you made music with, and you have to DJ off their computer. So obviously you can look back at that now and go, okay, if I'm in that position again, but now I'm so much more experienced, I've made up my own music and I can present it my own way, and I'm ready for people to stare at me again. Sometimes when you're in those positions and you're not ready for people to stare at you, it's awkward. Like I remember opening for AM or a bunch of different people, and people are just staring at me, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not used to, like, I want them to look at each other and dance. Like I need to like scratch a lot and do things, and and I had to immediately go in that mode, because like your heart's beating and you're like, why are they just staring at me? So it's kind of, but it's also kind of hard too with the especially in the EDM world. It's we come from like the open format where like we're always switching songs here and there, but when you go to these like EDM type shows, they're playing like a big bulk of the song, and while that's playing out, they're doing like hand gestures and like weird shit, like interacting with the crowd and like mic talking, like all that stuff that we don't do. Like, so we're trying to like fit into that world, and so when we were DJing, we were still like have club open format like styling into it still. So we were so out of like not in that world. We were just like plugged into that world, but still treating it like it was a club. So at times we were just like flying through songs. We could, like, for an hour set, we might have went through like 80 songs, like 80 edits. And I remember Grand Theft, he came, like, we were playing a show with Grand Theft, and he was like, man, you guys need to slow down. And I was like, why? He's like, you guys are just flying through songs. And I was like, whatever. Like, we're just going to keep going. Because, you know, for these type of like, even like festivals and stuff, the
time and like just the breakdowns. Like a lot of people just want to chill for a second and then like bring them on, because it's all like buildups and drops and stuff.
Right.
But at one time we were hitting people with drops like every 10 seconds. It was just nonstop, and I think that's what kind of like made us different. You know, like people were really like into that stuff. But yeah.
But I think Grand Theft, he's someone that especially, you know, is
He's
a
amazing.
one-of-a-kind kind of person and has such a deep understanding of the open format DJ world and the new kind of whatever you want to call it, electronic music producer, and how to perform in both worlds too. Because he's also given me advice on either remixes or whatever. Because he's like, you're doing too much like 3-style stuff, or, you know, scratch, you know, you got to do this. These crowds just want this. And I'm like, oh, you're right. I never thought about it like that. And it was a sort of like a slow down type of comment for something I was working on. And I think that he understands all sides of it, you know, because he comes from the open format DJ world and now has transitioned so well, you know, into that. And he's incredible producer and DJ and just all around good person. That's dope. And so, you know, so, I mean, we haven't even touched on so much of the stuff you've done. I mean, like, you put out so many amazing edit packs, remixes, and all kinds of things. And that's led to you meeting and I don't know about working with, but meeting so many of the artists that you've remixed, right? Like from, I mean, like the SZA stuff and Janet Jackson and Snow, like all types of stuff. So like, you know, what, I guess, do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, what are some of the people you've connected with just from doing music, you know, and producing music and remixing?
Yeah, I think I would say like the biggest person that I still talk to like on a daily basis is probably Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
That's amazing.
Like, yeah, I mean, he contacted me because of the Snow Allegra like Janet edit that I did. And I mean, I actually don't even know how he heard it, but actually, you know what? I think somebody played it, and like I kind of reposted it on my story. Yeah. And then Snow saw it and stuff like that, and then Janet saw it. So I'm sure he probably saw it through that. And and then I saw him following me on Instagram. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then he started DMing me like, he's like, this is amazing. Like, you know, this is like genius work. And I was like, oh, like for you to tell me that's like, I was like, dude, you don't even have to
telling you that.
Yeah. I was like, you don't even have to like talk to me. And then what the craziest thing is, like, you know, on holidays, like even like this past Thanksgiving, he'll just send me a DM. He goes, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Like, I hope you, like, I just thought of you today. Like I was talking to somebody about Snow Allegra and I thought about you. I was like, what the, you know, like, I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's insane.
You know, it's just, you know, just having conversations like that. And then just like sneaking in. I'm like, hey, so, you know, if, you know, I remember like trying to reach out and say, hey, you know, I hope we can clear this one, you know, to try to actually put it out, you know, but, you know, I never get like a direct answer, but like, I just try to sneak in stuff like that. Or I'll be like, you know, hey, you know, I'm working on something. I'd like to have you listen to it and stuff like that. So, but you know, I'm sure he's busy, so I don't want to like, you know, be like that.
I mean,
but
you should be like,
no.
yo, let me just kind of sit in on your studio sessions and just be there. If you were there when they were working on stuff, they might like just have you do something and incorporate it. And but I mean, I can't imagine, you know, I'm sure he would like to work with you if he's writing you that stuff.
But the craziest thing though is, I think he put out like an album, I think, like of like recent work with like Mariah Carey. I think one time he tried to sneak in like, hey, I think you should do something with this song, and I didn't even know what the song was, and then I opened it up, I was like, oh, it's his song, and it's a song that it just came out. So I'm like, I think he was trying to not push me, but like, hey, like maybe you should do something with this. So I was like, oh, all right. I'm like, oh, okay, you know. But it was just like it was like a weird like you know, exchange there. But yeah, for sure, I think him is big. I mean, just recently, SZA, like you mentioned, like SZA, that happened just, I remember happening that day, just kind of like it was a blur because you know, I put the thing out, the edit of the I Hate You. It did its thing for a few days, and then it got to her because she saw, because I put up one of these guys that on the internet, he does like dance videos. So he was doing a lot of dance videos to my edits, and he happened to do one to that edit. He made a video, I reposted it, and then she reposted it, and I was like, and that's when I started seeing all the views and like all the followers, and everyone's like, where do I get this from? Right. And I was like, oh shit. And then maybe the next day she DM'd me and she's like, this is amazing. And then she's like, oh man, do you your edits, like they're amazing too. So I'm like, oh, she must have went through all my stuff if she is saying that. And I was like, man, we got to work together. And she's like, let's do it. So I was like, here's some beats and nothing, but it's okay. But, right. but you know, just the interaction, it's like, it's crazy, you know? And just
I feel like they get bombarded. Like you might be able to just, sometimes I feel like you just got to like keep on it. Like I know some A&Rs and different people, and they'll be like, we'll have a conversation. They'll be so hyped on something I did or whatever. And like, let's do this. And then it almost feels like you lose track and you don't want to be annoying. But then when I see them again, they're like, hey, we haven't talked. We got to do something. And it's like, I guess maybe you have to be that annoying, like squeaky wheel, like, remember me? Like, you like my stuff or something. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a right answer, but that's so cool, and just shows the power of music and the power of doing things that you love and being genuine to your own sound and not forcing things and knowing when to stop and being like, because you could just be making twerk songs that you hate nonstop. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm going to tap into what no offense to the twerk stuff, but you know what I mean? Like you tapped back into a genuine part of yourself that you love, that you want to hear and you want to be in the world. And there's a void that you wanted to fill. And then that leads to the people that you're remixing and looking up to being like, you're dope, you know, like we want to work with you. So such a cool lesson, cool way to do it. Has that led to you doing original production for other artists in a way, or making original music yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always making original stuff. The thing is, like, putting out original music is like a different beast, because you know, it's a lot, obviously it's a lot easier to remix a song because you already have an established song, and you know, just flipping it and then people already know it. Making the originals now is like, you got to get vocalists and doing that stuff. I already have in the works, but the problem is like, all right, creatives now, it's like, all right, the artist wants this, blah blah blah. So because like when I'm making the remix, it's just me, you know, it's just my mindset. I don't got to get any approval for anybody and stuff like that. So but now when you're doing, you know, originals, you just gotta like talk to the, you know, whoever the writer is and stuff like that. So you gotta figure it out. So that's always in the works. Would I love to work with like more established artists? Yeah, of course. I think everybody would. I think my ideal would be like, someone brought this up to me. It's like, man, since I always do all these great edits for like, you know, all these big artists, would be kind of crazy if you ever did like a compilation album with these same artists, but it's like all original stuff, you know, like I guess like a DJ Khaled type of thing, but like it's just an actual like full on production. And I would love that, too. That would be amazing. Man.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I mean, that would be incredible if you could put that together. Have you produced for anyone? Like, you know, like have any artists brought you in the studio or just used your beats or anything like that?
Not a huge artist as of late, but like during the twerk days, that sounds weird saying twerk days, but
no, we know what you're saying. Context.
But yeah, we worked with the recent one. It was like a few years ago, but we worked with Fetty Wap. We worked with like Rich the Kid. This is before Rich the Kid like kind of blew up. Migos. This is before, again, this is all like right before they popped, and we got them at the right time. So like work with Migos. One of our bigger songs we did with OG Mako, you know, the guy that did like Bitch You Guess It, you know. We actually, that was an experience because we actually had to like do like a full rollout. That was actually signed to like a big, like, I forget what label it was, but it was a big label. We had to do this. There was a budget behind it. We had to like shoot a music video and all that stuff. It actually never came out, which I'm thankful because it was pretty bad.
Okay.
I was just super uncomfortable in the music video. Like I'm anything camera wise, me in it, I'm like super awkward. So like put me be in the video. Like the whole premise was because since we're TWRK, right? The premise was like this giant butt spaceship, and these girls, just like half naked girls, were just riding this butt mobile, whatever it was. And I'm the guy that has to like control this big shift knob to like put it in overdrive. And I remember them zooming into me, and like it was pretty bad. I'm so glad it never came out. But we had to shoot a music video.
Sounds kind of incredible, actually.
Yeah, it was so bad. Yeah, so and then we had to like do a little like mini tour with OG Macro and like travel around
right,
like cities and stuff. So that's like my first time dealing with like rappers and stuff. Like it's weird because like if you ever deal with a rapper, like their mindset is like they're on a different time, no matter whoever you're with, and especially like in the studio. We wanted to do like another studio session after the music video. Yeah. So he's like, well, let's go, let's do it. He took forever to get to the studio. It was like, it's already late because we already wrapped up the video shoot, and it's already late. And I'm sitting in the studio just like waiting. And then like 2 hours later, he comes back and he's got this giant jar of weed. And he's like, I gotta smoke this first. I was like, all right,
the whole jar.
Smoke it. I don't know the whole jar, but
like
I don't smoke. I don't smoke, but like I remember getting the biggest contact high ever.
Oh my God.
And I was like, man, I can't. This is crazy. And then he laid down some vocals, and then it was like I feel like it was only like a half an hour, but waiting there more. And I remember him just being passed out on the floor, like where the mic is. And I had to like,
I gotta smoke this.
Yeah, and like it had to, and like to leave the studio, you have to like go through where the booth is, where the mic is. So he's laid out on the floor, and I remember like walking over him, just to leave. And I was like, "Hey, if you're awake, I'm out," type of thing. But he's a cool guy, man. Like just, I know he went through some medical stuff and stuff in the past, but like He was a trip, man. It's just the way, and he had to like come out and perform with us in cities that maybe didn't even know the song and stuff. So it was kind of cool to him to promote it, and he did his songs and stuff like that. But that was like, I worked with it. Those are like the few artists in my TWRK days. But as of now, I would love to, whoever wants to work, and so this is why I just keep putting out music, keep putting out contact, just so that people get noticed. Because like if my guidance edit is playing on the radio, right, especially in LA, and I know Chris lives in LA, and I'm sure he listens to that station. I'm sure he's heard that, and I've heard stories where people tell me all the time, when they go DJ somewhere and like Drake's in the club. And he's heard, like they told me, like he heard it, bro. Like and so like I know these people have heard it before. So now how do we like link up type of thing?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Do you work with like any sort of management or booking agency thing anymore, or?
Yeah, I'm still under Mood Swing with Johnny. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Johnny, but
for sure. Yeah, I mean I met him a long time ago, and we've crossed paths multiple times. So that's dope. Yeah,
and then he's facilitated a lot of like the syncs that we've done too with a lot of our songs, which that's where a lot of the money is at, right? Because we all know like there's really not much money in music unless like you're like a really big artist, but getting these sync deals and being part of like movies, songs and commercials and stuff, it really is a nice change of pace too. Because sometimes, you know, you want to make music for people and you didn't really think you would be making, you know, music for commercials and stuff. But, you know, a lot of the songs are getting picked up that we've done in the past, and then they just get synced. So it's a nice feeling. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the, you know, I don't, who knows what I know, but like a lot of the music game is like also just the connections, you know what I mean? Being around people, like you see so much of it here in LA, like where you're like, how is that person working with that person? And a lot of times they were just at dinner at the right time, or, you know, it's like sometimes someone that's not as talented as you necessarily is working with some of the artists, but it can just be, oh, they were roommates with the A&R, you know, whatever, just like the right time at the right place thing as well. You know, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, because like it's crazy you bring that up, because like when I met Skrillex, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. So like at the time, Benzie was working with Skrillex because Skrillex was opening up for Guns N' Roses one year, and
I remember that because Benzie sent me a huge folder. He's like, can you help me make edits for Skrillex? I was like, what? So I tried doing a bunch of shit. I don't even know what happened to it. I sent it to him, but
so he wanted to craft a set more for like, you know, more edits and stuff for his set. And I just happened to be next to Ben at the time he got the call. He's like, you want to go? I was like, sure. Yeah, hell yeah, I'll go. And that's how I met Skrillex. And we hung out at his studio and stuff, and I just got to catch the vibe with him, and he's like super nice. I don't know if you've ever met Skrillex before, but he's
I randomly met him. Like I do this event for Zoomies. They're like a snowboard, skate kind of you know, apparel, whatever, like clothing store. They're like a chain, like hundreds of them. But I do this event for them every year up in Keystone, Colorado, and they'll bring crazy artists that like the kids all the people that work for them don't expect them to come. And one year they flew Skrillex up. So like I'm DJing, they just have him come out and be like, I'm Skrillex, and like do a crazy set. But I met him up there, and then ended up seeing him in the airport and back at LAX, and he was like the nicest person I've ever met. You know, he was like so cool. He's like, the DJing sounded good. He was like, you know, super into the music, very genuine, super nice. I don't know if I've ever seen him or talked to him ever since then, but just for that one experience, I was like, this dude's cool as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, for someone that big, like he doesn't have to be sometimes, you know, like I've met bigger, like up to his status, and they were just complete dicks, but like he was super nice. And the craziest thing was while we were just kind of, you know, brainstorming and how do we do stuff, he's sitting next to me, and he has a FaceTime, and I look over, it's Kanye, and I'm like, oh shit. And I think at that time it was like the Kanye's album The Life of Pablo came out, so he wanted Skrillex to remix I forget the song, I think it's called Highlights, off The Life of Pablo. And he played it, like he's like, I'm working on it, so he played it over the FaceTime for Kanye. Kanye's like, this shit's dope, and I was like
sitting there like, this is incredible.
Yeah, I was like, crazy. And because we were there for like 3 days, and then the last day, because I was always weird, because I was like, how do I capture this moment that I'm next to, like, but didn't want to be that guy that like pulls out his phone and like records everything, you know, like I try to be like super respectful, but like, and so I remember having this conversation with Ben. I was like, all right, this is our last day, like one of us got to get something, like a proof of whatever. So I saw my chance where like the last few hours we were there, Skrillex is like, do you want me to make a beat? I was like, are you asking me? He's like, yeah. He's like, he's like, do you want me to make a beat? I was like, sure, right? So he just like 10 minutes makes like the dopest beat ever. And I remember and I pulled out the phone and I just like, I gotta capture this. And then he like jumped behind the video and just like going crazy. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is crazy. Hell yeah. And so I just like witnessed him just make a beat in like 10 minutes and stuff like that. So I was like, man, that was like a greatest thing. And I had a chance to like, cause he had to play Vegas that night too.
Right.
So like the private jet was about to pick us up and stuff, but I had to do something else. I don't even remember what I had to do. It's probably not even that important. I probably should have stayed. But
Jesus, you don't even remember
I don't remember.
You're like, sorry,
to be
I can't
honest.
go on a private jet to Vegas for Skrillex. I gotta go.
It was probably something stupid, but I didn't go, but Ben stayed, and then he was just like, man, that could have been like my first chance of being a private jet and be with Skrillex, and like he had some girls there too, so. Well, whatever. But
okay, then I got to do this.
Yeah, I deserve it. I know.
Sorry.
I know.
It could have been
Bloody hell.
but it was not. No.
Oh man.
No, still dope. But yeah, I mean, yeah, who knows? You can't take every opportunity. But you know, I mean, but it's crazy how the world works and like what you do and what is almost like happening now with all of this TikTok and mashup and things being more legal in a way where like the world that we come from, everything was getting taken down, and it was like you said, you can't even find the video for your mashup anymore. You know, the G Unit one,
right.
And like, and now it's different. Like it's like they just licensed the Toxic Britney Spears with Genuine Pony as an official song that's on, and it's just a mashup, you know.
Right.
And,
right.
Like Sony was like, we own both sides. We're going to turn this into a real mashup. They put it on Spotify. It gets 10 million, 20 million plays, you know, and then the artists are making money. And I think all the other labels are realizing, oh, this is a thing. And then TikTok has become this sort of social media place of music discovery and music sharing, which we were never allowed to do on the other ones. We would get taken down. And even TikTok, you can get taken down, but I feel like it lends itself way more to the music discovery and the remixing. And I feel like that's how that Toxic Britney one came out. And that's how all these other new things are coming out. And the things that you're good at maybe might be able to be embraced in a new way now that wasn't able to before. You know what I mean? Because even I was talking to some A&Rs at labels that are trying to tap into that world where they want to figure out the mashup thing and putting it together and all that. And I was talking to them about stuff I know and people that I recommend. I mean, you were like one of the first people I said, I'm like, you got to listen to this person. Like he blows everybody else out because he does something totally different, you know? And they were like, oh yeah, we know he's dope. But like, it's, I'm trying, I'm pushing you, whatever chance I get, I put your name in there. But I mean, I think that who knows, there might be a time opening up right now that never existed that you're, I think as you keep pushing with your stuff, it might blow up in a certain way. And I know I haven't seen you on Twitch very much. And I know on TikTok, you're just sort of like sprinkling stuff onto there. But I do think that if you keep pushing, who knows, some other crazy thing might happen that you're like, I didn't anticipate this. And maybe they'll be able to license your mashups or remixes in a whole different way now or something.
It worked out with Austin Mills.
Okay.
He because he has a bunch of those beat videos and stuff and a lot of like
I love him. And he puts them out. I play them live sometimes, some of his remixes. Yeah,
so
they're great.
He recently, I guess one of his Mariah Carey remixes or whatever, it blew up on TikTok and Sony cleared it. So
amazing.
I think it's coming out soon, I think Friday or something like that. So
crazy.
So it's definitely, the doors are open. You know,
That's
we've seen it.
Saying. I feel like it's a new thing, and like it's almost like look, I had been when you're saying the quitting and they're not knowing what to do. I mean, I remember being 10 years into DJing and just going, what am I doing? Like, I can't make more than $150 to $300 a week. Like, I'm working a job all day. I'm DJing all night. I got to stop this. Like, what's the point? I'm going to become a music supervisor. I'm going to try to do something else with music, but whatever. Yeah. And then like I won this contest where Mark Ronson was like, you made the best mixtape, and I got to go on tour with him, and like my whole life changed. But it was the same kind of thing where you're like, am I going to quit? And then but then all the like 10 years of work you had put into that moment then you get this opportunity and everything explodes, like some, I don't know, like a flame hitting gasoline or something. And I feel like that's a lot of the, you've been putting in so much work for so long and you have so much dope stuff out there and you continue to do it that who knows? I'm hoping that this time where everything's converging could be that like time for you as well, because I mean, you deserve, people know who you are and people do respect you, but I feel like you deserve to even really go higher, and I feel like that, for as long as you've been doing it, it's in a way, I hope and I think it's only the beginning for you, because you have so much inside of you to give, and you've given it to all of us DJs and the people that have heard it and the amazing people, but like, I don't know, you're going to do so much more dope shit. I know it. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I'm like excited to see, what happens and stuff like that. I mean, that's not the end of the interview, but that's, just how I feel about your career.
I try not to stress myself over that. I try not to overthink it too much. Of course, a lot of my success as far as like certain songs that kind of go viral or whatever, their favorites. Yeah, they just kind of happen by accident. So I just gotta things. The universe has to like connect the dots and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
Just gotta keep working.
Gotta be patient. Yeah, you gotta be patient and just do what you love and put in the work.
Yeah.
Do you produce everything in Ableton? I'm just guessing, but is that?
Yeah, everything's on Ableton. Yeah, it's just a lot easier for me.
Yeah, and what are there, like, I've noticed that there's like in the graphic design world, which you know about, also is like there's that new thing DALL-E that everyone's talking about. Have you seen that thing? Like it's like an AI. It's like artificial intelligence graphic designer, and you have to apply to like be a part of it. And I've been seeing everybody posting videos and pictures, and like you get accepted, and then you can type in whatever you want, like an astronaut riding a horse in a surrealist
yes, I did
paint.
see that. Yeah,
and then like it pumps out all this stuff. It's insane. Like I'm like, yo, this is nuts. Like I feel bad for graphic designers, Yeah, I've also been picturing like they have to have this with music. Like I've been talking about it forever. Like there has eventually there'll be like artificial intelligence musicians, right? Is that something?
No, they do.
Like you've experienced? Okay.
They do.
There's like plugins for that.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but I don't know if it's fully out, but it's coming, and it's already in progress. Like people are making them because already right now, I'm just with the like acapellas and stuff.
Yeah,
like you can get back in the day, it was so hard to get acapellas. Now they got these AI generators, splitter type things that can, and the quality is amazing. Like it's probably the best.
Good. I just did a edit of the new Beyonce song, and like I made a horrible acapella, and then my friend had a membership or pays for that other one, the la 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 or whatever it is. And he's like, no, watch this. Sends me that. I'm like, yo, this is like impeccable. Like this is like sounds real for the most part. I couldn't believe it. And then I put that over it. I'm like, you just changed my whole shit. I actually could put this out now. So that was insane. And I can just picture it getting just nuts. Like you could train an AI guitar player by feeding it music you like, and then it knows how to jam with you, and it only knows about like funk music or, who knows?
It's just
crazy.
There's an extent to it, right? Like the AI can only generate whatever was fed into making that AI, right? So, it's not going to probably sound the greatest. Like it might have like, it won't have like a swing to the drums or anything, or something that has like grooved. It might be all like robotic, but the elements are there. Like the foundation is there. So you can take that, use it as an idea, and then just run away with it, type of thing. But yeah, it's scary now, man. Like just this future, bro. I know. Got to keep up.
Nuts. Yeah, exactly. I know. I mean, I guess that's why you're the producer, so you control the AI just like it would be a player that you brought in, a studio musician that also can't do the swing or doesn't know what you're saying or something,
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right. Well, so I asked the internet, the good old internet, if they had any questions for you. The scary internet. And some people, you got a lot of fans out there. Everyone loves your stuff. And some people ask questions. I actually will, full disclosure, I did not have time to read them. So if any of them are stupid and we just want to skip it, I'll just read them off. You can answer. Or if we've already talked about it, we can go forward. Yeah. But, we got some good listeners of the podcast. So, let's see. It looks like DJ Greg P has asked a couple questions, some technical stuff and some other. He asked, are you doing anything to protect your hearing? I don't know how much you play out, but are you wearing earplugs, in-ears, any of that stuff?
Well, when I was heavily traveling and being in these loud clubs, I was wearing earplugs and stuff, but I don't really go out as much anymore. So, but as far as like studio stuff, I try to listen to things on a lower volume and not so, because everything sounds great when you blast it, right?
Of course.
And plus,
I go to the studio with people like, check out my beat, and it's like my hair's going back in my face. I'm like in the Maxell commercial. I'm like, yo, son, I can't even hear this shit at this point. Yeah. Like, it's so fucking loud.
And plus, since I'm mixing a lot of my songs, on my own, so I've learned to just control the volume and because I have this plugin called it's from SonarWorks. I think they changed the name, but it changes the EQ curve on your headphones, so like you can get like a more flat audio and stuff like that. So it's great when you do mixes and stuff, so you don't get tricked on whatever headphones you're wearing. So there's like an option called it's just like a kind of like a ceiling curve where it doesn't, like the volume doesn't go beyond loudness and stuff. So it just keeps it at a nice level. So I usually have that on, and so it's not super loud. And if I want to just blast it, I'll just blast it off the speakers and whatnot. But most of the time I'm mixing out of headphones anyway. So, but yeah, take breaks, take them out. But when I was going out, I would wear earplugs for sure, because some places used to have these boots cranking.
Yeah.
Like
no,
super
I recommend.
crank.
Yeah, my ears are like done, like ringing nonstop. Like my ears been ringing for over 10 years, like never stopped. And I'm like, if I could tell anyone, like, you do not want this, trust me. Like, wear earplugs.
It's bad.
Any quiet place sucks for me now, because it's just like, I'm like, all right, at least I know I'm alive or something. That's what I think about it. Like,
that's crazy.
Don't protect your ears, kids. All right. He also asked, what is your computer setup? What kind? What year? What memory?
Oh, geez. Well, I have a
What's
MacBook.
your RAM, bro?
I got a MacBook Pro 2000. I want to say 2018.
Okay.
I think it has 32 gig of RAM, I think, or something.
Nice.
Whatever the highest spec at the time of 2018.
Whatever the highest, the most expensive one of 2018.
Because right now it's probably super old compared to whatever's out now. So, and the fan on this computer is shit, because it's like it sounds like it's gonna already take off or something. Me
too. We're recording now. Yeah, in 2019, and my shit's like. I'm like, yo, live streaming. And it's too much. Okay, good to know. All right, cheeseburger sandals has written in.
Nice.
That does not sound comfortable or appetizing. What song really, really needs to be remastered?
It needs to be really massive. I have two songs.
On the spot. Okay,
I got two songs, because I've mentioned this before. If you follow my Twitter, I've mentioned this before. One is Beyonce, "Crazy in Love." The mix on that song is shit.
I wonder why. Is it because, maybe because it was a sample, and also because it's so much mid-range, like with the horns and there's like so much of the same frequency from their voices, the horns, and it's just like a wall of sound to your face.
Yeah.
Like, it still works in the club, but you're right.
I don't know if it was intentionally done by that, just just to get that sound, because that was like that DC go-go sound, but
Right.
it's just bad. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're a DJ, you play that in the club, you compare that to whatever song you played before that, it just, everything's flat. So
No, I used to do, like, even in the vinyl days, I remember, like, I would have Crazy in Love, and then I would mix in Lil Jon, Get Low, but I had like double, so I would use the instrumental of Get Low, and I'd put it under this one part in Crazy in Love, and I would take the bass out of Crazy in Love, and it would always make it sound so much doper when I would take the bass out and the Lil Jon 808 would come in, because Lil Jon has the most minimal production in the world, and this was the most too much product, you know, and it would make Crazy in Love sound dope for that part, and people would be dancing even harder, and I remember being like, damn, like, that's just an example of what you're saying. So true.
And I would say the other song, just for like personal reasons, just I listen to it in the gym. Is Biggie Victory. The vocals are so low in that song, especially the intro of it is just really badly mixed and whatever. But those are the only two that I would say.
Right.
That's just like my personal
good choices. Oh my God. And then we were on Twitter earlier this morning with Trays and all these different people talking about this new Beyonce song and the whole, why is she paying the writer? Is she even paying the writer?
Why is she paying? It's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, it's first of all, it's hard to have discussions on Twitter because they're like super quick and you can't tell if people are like serious or mad or happy or what's happening. You know what I mean? I'm just going off a video I saw, you know, but I don't know. I mean, at this day, you know, with the knowledge I have, which is very minimal, like my thought was the whole Blurred Lines, you know, Pharrell, Marvin Gaye, where they're just like, look, everybody's gonna, you know, every DJ when it came out was like, oh, it sounds like Show Me Love, even though now every DJ is going, it's not Show Me Love, she just used the preset, you know. But if they hadn't have acknowledged it, everybody would have been like on the other side. I feel like, oh, it's Show Me Love, and they're not even, they just ripped it off and they're not saying anything, and now they're paying for it, and everyone's like, why are they paying? That's a rip off on the other side. But I think they're just acknowledging, they're showing love, you know what I mean? They're like, here you go, you're part of this. We obviously couldn't have made this sound without you, even though it's different, and also maybe preempting the potential lawsuit that could come from the whole Blurred Lines thing. That's my ignorant guess. Though.
It's crazy. Like, I can name a million songs with that same preset, and even like, you know, current day, like DJ Mustard used that sound on a bunch of his rap songs, like Chris Brown and like the Kid Ink, like all those type of songs, they're all in there. So it's just a slower tempo.
Sage the Gemini has a song with its exact sound. But I mean, I think that this one is so reminiscent of Show Me Love, and it's Beyonce, where anything she does, the entire
You like the song?
No. I don't even know yet. I mean, it's like coming so fast. I took the Gigamesh remix of Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Michael Jackson, and I chopped it up to make it like an instrumental, and I put her over it. And to me, it sounds doper like that. It's way funkier, and I'm like, I'm going to play this one. It's not, I don't think it's bad. I think it's dope. I mean, I like it. I don't know. It's only been out a few days. I can't tell what I like anymore. You know what I mean? That's I definitely played it for my family, and my son was like, can you put on just like a song, like a real song, with words that we want to like hear? And I was like, oh God. And then my wife's like, I don't like this. And I was like, okay. So initial reaction in my house was not, you know, the top song, but no offense, Beehive, don't kill me. I mean, you know, but I mean, it's obviously it's super high quality. Everybody involved is amazing, and it's dope. But I don't know. I've never played it out. It's only been out for like 3 days or 4 days, so I haven't played it out yet. I don't know the reaction. It's funny because it's like you said, like, or I don't know if you said, but like we used to hear, I don't know, like back in the day, open format stuff, like we would hear they would call it like the Euro remix, or, you know, it'd be like some like house music remix back in the day of a song or of a Neptune song or whatever. And we'd be like, you know, we don't play that. And it was like some cheesy, overproduced house song from London or Europe. And we were like, what is this crap? Like, And it's funny because now some of the new stuff, people are like, yes, it's that 90s house sound. I'm like, I think we hated that when it sounded overproduced and cheesy. So I don't think, why are we acting like we all liked it now? You know, just because we like Show Me Love and it worked for us in open format clubs. I don't even think our kind of DJs liked Show Me Love back in the day. We're all acting like we did. I don't know. So it's
just the term house music this whole week. Right. It's just, I'm so tired of the talk. It's like everyone became like a house music expert.
Right.
And most of these people probably don't even listen to the house music. And then when you have like Drake doing it, everyone's like, oh, this is revolutionary. Like no one's done this before. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it was nice for him to do it.
He has Too Close. He has Passion Fruit. On every album, Drake has one or two songs like that that I always play that are in the 118 BPM. Maybe some will be a little more Afro house, Afro beat influence. He's been doing it forever. Like everybody's acting like the whole world is changing and, we've been taken over by a new sound of the earth. It's like she probably isn't going to come out with any other songs that sound like this. People are like, welcome to the song of the summer, house music. Here we go. It's like, all right. And Drake's allowed to experiment. Yeah.
From what I hear, I have little sources, but from what I hear, her album is all house music. That's what I hear. Interesting.
Well, people can do whatever they want. That's what I think.
It's crazy, but yeah, I mean.
But also remember, Girls Run the World. Like everyone's
it was yeah.
I mean, that was Diplo produced an Afrojack sampled song. It was electro house or what, I don't know the genre, but it was the same shit we were playing in Vegas to make that while Avicii was a resident. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like Afrojack type shit.
Like the only, I won't say problem, but like the only thing I feel weird about the Beyonce song is, because you know how usually, like The Weeknd did it well, where he took a retro sound that we've always heard before, but they kind of made it fresh, like a little bit. The essence was there, but it the production was a little bit more upscale. This one, it sounds like they literally took the beat from the 90s and then they just wrote something current on it. That's just kind of what it sounds to me. So that's why I felt like the production of it just.
It's almost like it's from a movie, like where they were like, we're going to recreate the sound of the 90s, and it's in a movie. Yeah. And The Weeknd sounds futuristic, original, and new, mixed with the vintage sound. And yes, someone can pick out the sample from The Weeknd, but they flipped it in such a way where it's just all new. And then he did the crazy thing with his look and just the whole thing. Yeah. You're right. She's Beyonce. She's coming out with this sound, and it's just influenced by something else. And that's probably why they paid the writers and the sound, and then now everyone's arguing about, well, Stonebridge didn't get the credit and he's the one that used the M1 and the other people didn't. And it's turning into this whole fight of who, okay, so now let's fight about who created the patch on the M1. You know what I mean?
I know. Does Korg get a piece of that
72-year-old guy right now is watching, daytime television like, I created that. Or maybe because they use that patch and it has multiple frequencies of bass and highs and lows, and that makes it a sound. And who knows? I don't know.
It's crazy.
The debate rages on. But yes, it is so annoying. Twitter is just, I love Twitter and I hate it sometimes because I'm like, I don't want, like, what the hell are you guys talking about? They're just like arguing about the dumbest shit that does not make sense. Everyone's acting like an expert, and at the end of the day, everyone's human. There's no specific set in stone genres. It's all just music. There's an infinite amount of music that will never end. Some stuff's gonna sound like other stuff, and we love all kinds of stuff, and we're just gonna play it or not play it. And the Drake stuff, it's like it's all over the place.
But like even like the DJ Twitter is always fun to see, like if you're still playing this song in 2022, you're a loser. Like, it's shit like that. But it can get really annoying. That's why I just
annoying.
Mute all these
I don't
words.
listen to any of it. I'm just like, yo, everywhere I am is a specific different situation and calls for a different specific kind of set and song and remix of a song and blend and whatever.
Yeah.
So I just adjust it. I'm a DJ. I look at the crowd and I do my thing. I'm not going to be like, oh shit, Twitter told me this song is played out, or to bring this back, or whatever.
Yeah, because I remember somebody tweeted me. This guy was like, he had a conversation with his friend that said that my SZA remix was too fast compared to the original, right? And his friend's like, I forget the exact tweet, but something like, they had a debate about like, is it too fast to play out in the club? I was like, why does it matter? Like,
I saw that whole debate.
If you don't want to play, don't play it.
I don't know who it was, but I was like, shut.
This is a conversation. This is crazy.
Also, what's really cool is that on like CDJs and turntables, they have this part where you can slow down and speed it up. So it's amazing that you could actually play it and slow it down if you want. You know what I mean? It's like the Beyonce's 115. I put it over a song that's usually faster, and then I slowed it down, and it sounds cool. And then I thought about when I play live, maybe I'll speed this up to 120, or maybe I'll slow it down. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, you can do whatever you want. If it's working in the club, or if it's working at the party, or whatever you're doing, then that's the answer. The only answer you need,
I'm going to flip that song and make it more
the Beyonce.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're gonna kill it. Whatever you do.
I'm trying to flip it for more of like something that I would put, because the original I wouldn't see myself playing anywhere. So like I want to.
I know.
If I want to really play that song, let me play a version of mine.
Right.
Maybe
that's why I made
like
that blend. Like I'll send it to you after. Like, to me, I made the blend. And I was listening in my room and then in my car, and I'm like, okay, I would play this at like, I think people would dance to this. You know what I mean? It depends what kind of spot. Not like a big Vegas club, but it gave it a different feeling. For me, it's just my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion, but like that's what I thought. And I agree. I don't know if I would play the other one. The way it is, maybe I'll try it out and see, but it was, I don't know. It sounds it's very produced, if that makes sense. All right, move on from Beyonce before we get killed, like the Road podcast. They were getting attacked by the Beehive for their A. Marie comparison. Oh my God, that was crazy.
We love you, Beehive.
Yes, Beehive. We love you so much. Even people call you Bayhive. I don't know why, but it's like they spell out. I'm like, her name's not Beyonce. I don't think it's Bayhive, people, but you can answer us, Beehive. All right, let's see. So we got the remastered songs. We got Bossa Nova, DJ Bossa Nova with a couple questions. He wanted to know your musical background. Kind of told us about that, but I don't know if there's anything else you want to add in there.
I think I covered that already.
Covered it. Yeah. On to the next. There's more. He said, do you find instrumentals first and then dope vocals? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Totally, but yeah, like I guess when you're doing the blends and stuff.
I mean, I guess if we're talking about like blends and stuff, there's really no order. I think actually when I think about it, if maybe the vocal comes first in mind, and then I can go find a beat for it. Just look through the keys. I think that's easier. But it could work the other way around. But I think most of the time it's just if I hear a song, for instance, Beyonce, and be like, oh, I like the vocals, but I don't like the beat. We'll just swap it out.
Yeah.
Or let me just make my own beat. Just like that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. He also asked, what is your edit? Making his edit question. What is your process for making your edits? I mean, you kind of just answered it.
Yeah.
If you got anything else, can move on.
Yeah, I use Serato as my library.
Okay.
Throwing all my songs in there. I've just accumulated so many instrumentals and acapellas, and then now that I can make new instrumentals and acapellas with these AI stuff, it's like I could do anything now. So yeah, I just use that. Use a lot of mix and key. And then I use Ableton and get to work.
Right. And do you have any of the AI ones you recommend? Or are you keeping those under wraps, or like the one I said? Or
I don't have anything in particular because I don't really use the, whatever AI music thing that's coming. But there is a program, a VST that it's like a bass plugin, and it's called Easy Bass. And this thing is crazy. You just gotta feed it MIDI file, like if you do like a chord progression and stuff.
Right.
And if you got the MIDI file, just load it in there, and it'll do like out of like different type of stylings and stuff like that. You can really get like a nice groove, like of a bass line stuff. I've used it one time for like one of like edits that I did or whatever. But it's crazy because it's like having someone that's like a bass player like in your session, just like like doing like these like articulate stuff. It can get a little too much because like you might overdo it in the track. Yeah. But
you can edit the MIDI notes after.
Yeah,
right?
You can edit everything, and there's different stylings of jazz or like soul and stuff like that, or even like country and like or folk. Like there's all different stylings of it, whatever. But when you really listen to bass lines in modern music, they're all the same, really. It's just like it doesn't really it doesn't have to be that intricate unless like you're trying to do some like crazy, like jazz stuff. But
right, doing that AI jazz. That's crazy. Shit, I had one other question off that, but I forgot. I don't remember, something with the AI bass. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, all right. So, and the AI stuff, but what about for the AI acapellas? Is there ones that you go to for that?
Oh, I strictly go to the LA AI?
Yeah, that's,
La,
I don't know
whatever.
how you say it. Yeah, la or something.
In my years of like testing different types of, I think there was like a thing called Spleeter at the time before that. And then there was like, I know Isotope came out with their own thing where it was like part of like this bigger type of program.
Right.
But every quality was kind of the same until this La came out. And I know this one is like you got to pay for it, but it's super useful. It's definitely worth it. And I think at the time when I signed up, I was lucky enough they were giving out like free minutes. So like they gave me like a shitload of minutes. So then, now I just try to use them up.
You deserve like a free account. You just like be like, look, this is what's possible. Okay. Look what I've done.
A plug right now. So it's funny. They're doing like a referral thing. I should throw up my referral.
You're like, yo, I got SZA hitting me up. All kinds of people. Use your shit. Come on.
But that's
I saw
definitely the best
Spotify.
one.
Like Spotify came out with some open source thing that'll take the parts and turn it into MIDI files.
Oh yes, I did see that. Yeah,
that seems pretty dope. And I saw some people saying like, "Yo, well, Ableton already does that." I'm like, "Yeah, but you have to pay so much money for Ableton too."
I tried it.
Is it better?
It's better than Ableton.
Wow, because the Ableton one is not that good. Like it's cool, but you need to adjust the shit out of it afterwards.
I usually do it with Melodyne, which is it's another plugin that it's usually used for like vocals, like so you can get pitch correct your vocals and stuff. But this one, Melodyne can, if you feed it like an audio, it can get the chords for you, and it's pretty accurate. I would say that's probably the top tier, but the Spotify one, that's super legit. I think I think it's better than Ableton.
I gotta try that out. I wonder why they did that.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. That's crazy. They should do their own.
What was the motivation? I mean, maybe they just want more and more people to do like covers, because I feel like they get a good amount of, like I see all these lo-fi producers making cover songs, and then they go to DistroKid and they can just get the license like instantly, put it up, and then it splits it out easily for them. So maybe they want more of that going on, and maybe it's a good business for them, because in a way it's like in between having to pay these huge artists, and maybe they get a better deal from the cover thing, and then they're trying to do their podcast world, and Spotify's all over the place. I mean, it's so crazy. I don't even know what to use it for anymore. Like, besides, like I'm like, I listen to music, but then I'm like, do I use it for podcasts or
Yeah.
They're doing so much. All right, let's see. Yo Yoli wrote in. She wanted to know, well, she asked about TWRK. We already answered that. And she asked, what got you into producing?
I would say the Neptunes, like the guys behind here.
Those guys are pretty good. Yeah, that poster is super dope.
So yeah, the Neptunes got me into music. I mean, well, at least the music production. I've just during that time of like watching music videos in like TRL days and like the early 2000s, watching countdowns, and then there are songs would just pop up on the countdowns, and I would just kind of look up, because at that time I was really looking into like credits of songs, and I was looking them up, and I was like, Neptunes, like who are the Neptunes? And then I would just like piece everything together, and I was like, oh man, they did that Jay-Z song, they did this Britney Spears song, and they were like doing NSYNC and like Justin and I think the Justin Timberlake album, because at that time I was kind of like I used to like pop bands and like the NSYNC, and like they were like super catchy to me. It was like a guilty pleasure type of like liking of these pop bands. So I was like really into like NSYNC and stuff. So like when they did Girlfriend, I was like, this is a smash. Like I love this song. Then I found out when Justin became solo, and then I heard Neptunes are producing half of the album, and then Timbaland. I was like, oh, I gotta get this album, and I religiously listened to that album front to back, like for years, and I still do, and I usually just go back to it, and I just listen to that their production, and then I was listening to NERD In Search Of. That was like kind of the album that kind of changed everything for me, just like looking into music. I was like, this is what I want to do. And I've told this story before, but like just the knowing that Pharrell and then Chad, which was a Filipino, and I was like, and I'm Filipino, so I was like, man, if he can do it, I think I can do it too. Because at that time I never saw anybody that looked like me as far as like in the music, and even to this day, there's not many, not that it's like a vocal front, So just to see that, and I was like, man, I would love to do that. And then to fast forward to now, not that I'm like big as Chad Hugo, but like I've traveled around the world, and people came up to me and it says, hey, like I'm Filipino too, and I love what you do because I want to be like you. And I was like, cool, because that's how I got it. That's how I got into the game. You passed on
the exact same thing to other people. I mean, you're birthing the next version of you, whether you know it or not. That's amazing.
So just seeing that from the Neptunes, and then I dig their music because they were so different, especially in that world during that time when there was like the era of like super producers, right? Like you got the Timbalands and Swiss Beats, like Dr. Dre's. Everyone had their distinct sound, and you knew right off the bat who was who. And when the Neptunes came out, I was like, it's so like weird sounds, but they make it work. And like they had these like the writings and like the bridges of their songs. It was infectious to me. So I was like, man, I gotta keep analyzing it. So that's why I'm always standing over them, So that's why I do music, is of them.
Have you ever like had any interaction or connection with Chad Hugo or anyone, Pharrell, anyone in the Neptunes?
Not direct. I know people that do know that, because I know some people from Virginia that know, because I know Chad still lives there, so I know people that know him. Years ago, I almost met him, or from what the thing is, I had a gig in Virginia, and the people that set up the party, they're like friends with Chad, and one of the guys is like, man, Chad might come out tonight. I was like, no fucking way. I was like, you kidding me? So like they told me earlier in the day, and I was like hyped, and he's like, it's like, hey, he might show up. And I remember just playing, but he didn't end up. Long story short, he didn't.
Was it a Neptunes party or just like a?
No, it was just like me playing whatever I want type of thing. So
anyone do? Someone should do an all Neptunes party, like, and have you and
there is a bunch. I know they do. I got invited to one in Virginia. Just didn't work out or whatever, but.
Right.
But they've done different. I've seen a bunch of events or whatever. I know they just had Pharrell just had his own festival, the something in the water, And I had a bunch of people hit me up. They're like, "Man, why aren't you playing this?" I was like,
Right?
"I don't know. I wasn't invited."
Yeah,
but,
you got to connect with them somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if they heard your stuff, they would love it.
Yeah. From what I hear, Chad has heard some of the edit, the edit packs or whatever, because I'm sure some of the people that support me, they play it and they just happen to be there. But yeah, I mean, one day, I don't even know what I would say, because I know there's that thing where, they say like never meet your idols and stuff.
Right.
Because, you never know. And I'm always afraid. I'm like, oh man, they could be like assholes or whatever, or I get rubbed the wrong way
I
type
don't
of
think
thing.
So.
But
No,
but yeah,
they both
I mean,
seem cool as fuck. Like I've had my own weird interactions with them where they don't know who I am, I don't think. But like right pre-pandemic, I got hit to DJ. What was it? Like Golden Globes or Oscars or one like award show thing for Netflix, and it was after the after party. Like they had like the after party, and then they were like, we want you to come. They literally hit me hours before it started. They were like, the head of Netflix is going to throw their own after party at this super private club in Hollywood. Right. And it's like, even like, it's like super membership, whatever. Nobody can have a camera and know where it is and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right. And like I show up, they're like, hardly anyone's going to be there. And I remember, I just was like, I don't know what to play. I'm just going to play whatever, just wing it, Benzie style. But I'm going all twerk. No, but so then I started DJing, and I'm in an empty room, and two people come in, and like I couldn't see them though, and they were dressed like kind of crazy, but like cool. And I'm like just DJing, just playing like new stuff and old stuff, and just trying to get whoever's in the room for like their head to bob. And I see those two people, and then I see like Aziz Ansari walk in, and then like the head of Netflix and his wife come in, and I'm like, all right, there's like 6 people, and then like a couple other like Adam Driver, like random celebrities. And I look, and the 2 people that were there from the beginning, it was Pharrell and his wife. And I was like, oh shit. Wow. So then I noticed it's them, and I'm like, all right, I gotta make like their head bob or something, because there was no like dancing. We were just in a tiny room, like so small, so it's so intimate. And I'm like, what would he want to hear? That's dope. That's new and old. And I probably played some of your shit. I'm like busting out any dope remixes and future beats, and this was like 2020, January 2020. This was right before the pandemic. But I remember just looking over at him like, is he bobbing his head? Like, is his wife into it? And they kind of seemed into it. I don't know. I never talked to him. I was like hoping he'd walk by like, good job, buddy. But like nothing. It was like
just the head nod.
Yeah. And then also like I used to live super close to Samantha Ronson, and we would just work on music, like just for fun, just do remixes. And she was like, oh, let's remix. It was like one of my brother's songs, like a Mark Ronson song. We were working on it, staying up all late. And I really didn't know what I was doing at that point. Like I kind of knew Ableton, but I was just messing around, and we were learning stuff. And then I come back, and she's like, all right, I got Chad Hugo to work on the remix with us. I'm like, what? I was like, no, I don't want him to hear this. Like, it sounds horrible. She's like, it's all good. I ended up having to meet him, and like I felt so weird. And like it was like you said, like I felt like we're listening to the worst thing ever. And I'm like, I don't even know what to say to this guy. He ended up being like the nicest person ever. I don't even know what happened with that remix. It's like somewhere on someone's computer with like everybody did their one little weird part to it, and it never came out. But those were my little interactions with them. But I've had no real connection. But same kind of like, I love you guys, but don't know what to say or play around you. But yeah, I feel like you would. One day you'll connect with them. I feel like you guys could make some really dope shit together. All right, let's see what else we got. I don't want to keep you too long. We got Rate Wonder just wrote you a nice comment. He said, hi, Eccentric. Not a question, just a comment. Please never stop making edits. Thank you. So, Rate Wonder.
Got you.
Dope DJ. We got you. Rainbow O'Clock. Rainbow O'Clock. What plugins does he use for his bass, and what is his chain on the bus, and when Lambo? Damn, got like crypto lingo in there, and very specific questions. Answer whatever you want. You don't need to do the whole thing if you don't want.
not bass plugin. I usually use like just one shot like basses, like 808s and stuff. But
And then you just
I've been
play it.
using yeah. But the reason I've been using this bass plugin called it's Sublab. So it's just a built-in bass instrument, whatever.
Sublab. So
It's great, and then you can like manipulate the 808s or whatever bass sounds, and then it's really
dope.
detailed.
yeah.
And what he said, like the master chain.
What chain on the bus?
Oh, so you probably want. Yeah, it's like that's like a common question, I guess, like amongst producers. Like, what do you put on your
Right.
master to make your songs good? But I don't really. I used to do a lot, and I think that's why the songs sound like shit back then. But now I'm just like very limited on what I put on there.
Right.
So I use a lot of the stock Ableton stuff, like glue compressor, and use like a lot of the fab filter, like limiters and stuff. But I do a lot of the heavy loading in the mix. So
Right.
clipping, I do a lot of clipping sounds and stuff like that, so I can make it like louder and just like nice, distorted, but not so like it just adds
You
like
do
a
that
saturated sound.
pre-master so that you get the best sound possible, and then if you want to add anything master, you can.
Yeah. So like I do most of the heavy duty work inside of like each track, and like you do the EQs and stuff, or if I need a little compression, whatever. But I'm not dealing with super amount of like tracks anyway, because I'm not making like these big movie scores or stuff like that. It's like mostly most of my elements are from drums, just the bass, maybe a sample, or maybe I'm playing out the chords or whatever. But the less is more for me. I think I don't try not to overdo certain things, and like that's why you were saying earlier with the TWRK stuff, it's like it's playable, like these songs are playable and not being like overdone and not doing too much and stuff. So I always kept it like that. That was, what is that? Like, keep it simple, stupid. I always try to keep it like that. Not, no, but because I always hear these other producers, and I would love to do all these like weird, what they do is like bass glides and like the stereo image, or like the hi-hats going like left and right and like all this stuff. And, I'll do that sometimes, but as like a average listener, some people don't even want to hear that type of stuff, So, I just do it tastefully, here and there. If you can spot it out in some of my stuff, that's an A+ to me, because I was like, oh, you noticed, type of thing. But yeah, I try not to do too much as far as mastering and chain and mixing and stuff. So just keep it simple.
All right, so less is more, like you said. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay, two more, and then then we'll do some last words, get out of here. But DJ Rio Soul, he asked, how is your creative process when making remixes? You have fire remixes. You kind of explained that, but if you got anything else you want to add, or we can move on.
Yeah, I think I brushed up a lot of that already. Yeah.
Okay, and then one more production question from the Gregory Music: tips for knocking drums.
Like I said before, you got to use a soft clipper.
Okay.
I would probably recommend there's a plugin called K-Clip.
Okay.
You can, if you use Ableton, you can also use in the glue compressor. There's like a button on the side that says soft, so that makes it can turn it into a soft clipper. So essentially, what it does is just it makes the things louder, but not so to the point where it distorts. It like chops off pretty much the waveform of whatever sound you put in there, and that's how you can get a lot of the sounds really loud, to the point where it's like you can get really aggressive with it, but you can do it tastefully where it's transparent and you don't notice it, type of thing. So that's how I get a lot of the drums to really sit well and be loud and stuff. You could also use this other I know Decap has his own
I was about to say, I'm like, he literally has a plugin called Drums That Knock.
Yeah, so you can use that. But even if you just use his drums, they're already like right out the box. They're already loud. So like
that's
you
the
could
thing.
use
A lot of
that.
yeah, like back in the day, we used to have to find a drum and put it into a sampler, do so many things, and like you said, you're using SoundForge or whatever random ass programs on a PC. Now everybody has made the best sound you could possibly get. If you download a sound from Oliver or Decap or any of these people from Splice, it's perfect as it is.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the time too.
Yeah, you could just. It's just like a plug and play type of thing. You just take it out and put it in. So
that's true.
Yeah. The more work I have to do to a sound, I don't even want to deal with it anymore, you know, because I'll be taking forever just to like get a kick drum to be like hitting well. So I have like certain kicks or snare or whatever sounds. I have like go-tos that I already just pull up and then I just reuse them. So
right. Dope. And so where can everybody, all these amazing, productions we're talking about, where can everybody find it? Like what's all your different social media and the best place to find all your remixes and all that stuff, production?
The big bulk of it is on my SoundCloud. It's
okay.
I think it's ESENTRIK. And then I usually put them up on Bandcamp if you want to support them. I usually have it. I don't really price a lot of it. So like, you can get it for free if you want to donate $1. That's cool too. Even if you ask me, if you DM me and say, "Hey, can I get this?" Or like, because I had people be like, "Hey, I tried to buy it and something went wrong," I'll just give them the whole pack. Like I don't really care, you know, type of thing.
Right. I've seen you put out your whole library before. You were like, "Here you go, everybody."
Like depends on the day. Like if you ask, then I'll probably just give it to you for free, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's on a Bandcamp. I have a few songs on Spotify. You can listen to that too. And then like in my Instagram, it's ESENTRIK.
And everything's it's ESENTRIK, and then your Twitter is DJ ESENTRIK, right?
So Twitter's DJ ESENTRIK. My Instagram is just ESENTRIK. And then SoundCloud I used to have a SoundCloud where it's just DJ ESENTRIK, but that got taken down years ago because of copyright and stuff. So it took years to build up, but now I'm starting to get my followers back on SoundCloud.
Right. Well, because SoundCloud's kind of coming back in that same way where you can post stuff again and all that. Yeah.
They're kind of I mean, depending on what song you put up, but they haven't really, they're not cracking down on certain things as much as they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that and I don't even remember what my TikTok is. I barely use it, but I only go on there just to look at things.
I know. I looked you up on there and I'm like, oh, he's posted like just a couple things like every other month or something.
Maybe I should start using it more, but
I think you should. I think everybody should, but same with me. I'm trying to get myself to do it, but it does seem like it's the most friendly platform for music discovery and music sharing in a way, which is what we like,
It's just the visual aspect of it, obviously it's the most important thing. So how do I trying to figure that out? I know a lot of people just play them out and they do like these, live performances and stuff. I'm not that type of guy. Like it's hard for me to get into that mode and stuff like that. I mean, I have one video it did pretty well. It's just me on the Ableton Push, like,
that
literally just playing it.
Video did great. It connected you with Ty Dolla $ign and everybody, right? I remember seeing you post it and then seeing him right back, and then everyone was like, "Holy shit, this guy's talented!" And so that worked. And that was a cool style. It was cool. You had the lights and the way you had the camera angled, and
I had like the waveform on above my head, like as the audio was going through.
I think that's dope, and it's the consistency with that. I think like if you put out a lot of those, you know what I mean, and you just you could go back and do them for songs you already made and just do them. And I feel like if you did them a lot on TikTok, it would start noticing that you're like dedicated to it, and it'll start showing it to more people and become a thing if that's what you want. I mean,
it's just hard for me because of trying to be consistent with it, but like with how I think sometimes is like when I make something, I'm so like eager to put it out like right there because I can.
I know. Yeah.
And not just think, hey, all right, let me slow down and let me just accumulate a bunch of them. Like right now, I'm sitting on, like I wanted to do like an edit pack. I did like a preview of like 3 of the songs and stuff like that. and I have like others. And so many people have been asking for them, and they think that I'm gonna drop it like today, and I want to, but the things is, I feel like I need more. Like I want to like make it bigger, but so I'm trying to hold back, because maybe like a week ago I would have been like, hey, here, take it, because a lot of people want it now, but I've been teasing them like for days and now, so just trying to like build it, trying to focus more on the fan or like the supporters that I have now, instead of trying to like seek, I of course I want new supporters, but like focus on the ones that are really there for me, like, because they've been solid. Like, I'm not really big in numbers of like social media and stuff, because it just gets confusing and stuff, but just that my last post of just engagement, and I'm looking at them, there were like a giant of them were my followers, and I only have like, I don't want to say like under 6,000, right? But they were solid. And for like for Instagram algorithm, usually they don't even want you. They I don't know, whatever they use. But for this time, I saw, I'm like, man, most of these people are like strictly my followers, and I was like, I've never seen this type of engagement before. So
that's great.
It's good to like connect with people. That's why I try to message everybody when I can, because I'm not like a big snob or anything like that. I'll talk to anybody. So
you're very cool with it, and open, and sharing of the music, and totally putting it out there like that.
Yeah,
dope. All right, well, everybody go get that. And you got any last words for the DJs out there, or some motivation, or just say anything?
Just keep working. Thank you for always supporting whatever I do. Keeps me motivated. I love the videos when you guys post, guys playing my edits and stuff. So you keep doing that, and I keep supplying it, and you just show me love back, and then that's rewarding for me. So
amazing.
That's it. Yeah.
Dope. Well, so nice to actually finally meet you and talk to you. Thank you for coming on the show, and for sure, thank you for always, supplying me with the dope music and letting me play your stuff, and we'll keep supporting on this side. So, ESENTRIK, everyone go check them out if you haven't already, and we will see you. Hopefully, I'll see you in person one day soon.
Yes, sir. Hit the yes, sir button.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, baby. What's this first button? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I forgot I had that one in there.
Live in New York. Yeah.
We got, gotta have that. Mix it with that.
Yeah.
A little bit of that. Okay. Give it up for ESENTRIK, everybody.
Yeah.
That's right.
Blood out.
Give it up. Okay. End it off with a blat out. ESENTRIK, thank you. Thank you for coming on the 20 podcast, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Peace. So glad we finally got ESENTRIK on the show. I had never even really met him, so it was so great to be able to talk to him and learn so much about him, and be able to ask stuff that I've always wanted to know. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you rate and review on all the platforms that we are on. The 20 podcast is produced by Beatsource. Join us next week for more interviews as we discuss music that matters to DJs. I'm DJ Spider signing off.